My son blocked the doorway and shouted, "This is my wife's family dinner. You're not welcome anymore." I turned around without a word. 2 weeks later he was standing outside my new place with tears in his eyes. What I did in those 2 weeks shattered him. Family story. I stood on the front porch of that brick ranch house in Oak Ridge Estates with a foil-covered casserole dish in my hands and a pie balanced on top. The late afternoon sun was warm on my shoulders, the kind of soft September light that makes the maple trees along the cul-de-sac look like they're on fire. I could already smell the garlic and rosemary coming from inside. Ryan's birthday dinner. I had made the same chicken and rice casserole every year since he was 8 years old. The recipe card was still in my recipe box with his little crayon smiley face drawn in the corner. Ryan opened the door only halfway. His face was tight. Behind him I could hear laughter and the clink of glasses. Jessica's parents, her sister, her brother-in-law, and their kids were already there. The table was set for 8. No place for me. He didn't step aside. He planted his feet and looked straight at me the way he used to look when he was grounded as a teenager. "This is my wife's family dinner," he said, voice louder than it needed to be. "You're not welcome anymore." I stared at him for 3 full seconds. The casserole dish felt suddenly heavy. I could see Jessica standing in the hallway behind him, arms crossed, watching. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. I turned around without a word. I walked back down the concrete path, past the mailbox with the wooden birdhouse I had painted for them last spring, past the flower bed I still weeded every other weekend even though no one asked me to. I put the food in the passenger seat of my old Honda and drove the 6 blocks back to my own house on Willow Lane. I sat in the driveway for a long time with the engine off. The neighborhood was quiet. A couple of kids rode bikes past. Somewhere a dog barked twice and then stopped. I thought about every Sunday dinner I had cooked in that kitchen after Jessica and Ryan got married. Every time I babysat so they could go out. Every school pickup when Jessica had a work meeting. Every time I paid the difference on their car insurance because Ryan's credit was still recovering from the student loans. I thought about the way Jessica's mother always got the good cheer at the table and how my name never made it onto the group text when they planned holidays. That night I didn't cry. I just started packing. I emptied the kitchen cabinets first. The good plates my mother left me. The cast iron skillet that had made every birthday breakfast for 29 years. I wrapped them in newspaper and put them in boxes I still had from when I moved into this house after the divorce. I called a storage unit on the edge of town and reserved a 10 by 10 for the next morning. Then I called a real estate agent named Carol who lived 3 streets over and told her I wanted to list the house as is, as soon as possible. Carol didn't ask questions. She just said she would be over at 9 with the paperwork. By Thursday the sign was in the yard. By the following Monday I had an offer from a young couple who liked the built-in bookshelves and the backyard garden. I accepted it the same afternoon. I found a small 1-bedroom apartment across town in a quiet complex called Pinecrest Courts. No yard. No HOA meetings. No one expecting me to show up with a dish. I paid the first and last month in cash from the savings account I had kept separate since the divorce. The account Ryan never knew about. I moved on a Tuesday. 2 men from the moving company loaded the truck in under 3 hours. I followed them in the Honda with the last of the boxes. The apartment smelled like fresh paint and new carpet. I set the casserole dish on the counter even though I had nowhere to put the leftovers. That night I ate takeout Chinese food on a folding chair and watched the sun go down over the parking lot. The first week I didn't answer any calls. Ryan tried 3 times on Wednesday. Twice on Thursday. Once on Friday. I let everyone go to voicemail. Jessica never called. I deleted the messages without listening. I changed my phone number on Saturday and only gave it to Carol, the storage unit manager, and the new landlord. I spent those days doing ordinary things that felt brand new. I joined the morning walking group that met at the community center. I signed up for a pottery class on Wednesday nights. I bought a small television and watched old movies until midnight. I cooked for 1 and 8 at the little table by the window. I didn't set a place for anyone else. On the 10th day I drove to the bank and closed the joint account I still had with Ryan from years ago when I helped him open his first checking account. There wasn't much left in it, but the act of signing the form felt final. Then I went to the lawyer's office on Main Street and updated my will. Everything I owned, what was left of the house sale after the mortgage, the small life insurance policy, the savings, went to the local animal shelter and the community college scholarship fund. I left Ryan nothing. Not out of spite. Out of clarity. He had made it clear where the line was. I simply stepped all the way over it and kept walking. On the 14th day I was watering the 2 little plants I had bought for the windowsill when the doorbell rang. I almost didn't answer. No one knew where I lived except the people I had told. I looked through the peephole and saw Ryan standing there in the same blue work shirt he wore to the warehouse. His eyes were red. His hands were empty. I opened the door but didn't step aside. He looked at me for a long moment. Then the words came out in a rush, the way they used to when he was little and had broken something he couldn't fix. "Mom. I didn't mean it like that," Jessica said. We need you. The kids keep asking where Grandma is. I can't. I don't know how to do any of this without you." I stood there with the watering can still in my hand. The hallway behind me was quiet. No smell of garlic. No place set at a table. Just the soft hum of the refrigerator and the sound of a car door closing somewhere in the parking lot. He waited for me to speak. I didn't. I just looked at him the same way he had looked at me 2 weeks earlier on that porch in Oak Ridge Estates. Then I closed the door gently, turned the lock, and went back to my plants. I could hear him standing there for a long time. Eventually his footsteps faded down the concrete stairs. I didn't watch him leave. I finished watering the plants and sat down at my little table by the window. Outside, the afternoon light was the same soft September gold it had been the day he told me I wasn't welcome. Only this time it fell across an empty chair that belonged only to me.